Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay. So, with the global semiconductor shortage, I managed to pick up a little bit of overtime on night shift doing very easy work. So, heading home from that. And I want to tell you an interesting story about the car dealership. Now, in order to tell you that, I'm going to have to tell you a little bit about the way that most automotive factories will function once a vehicle's complete. So, I've been out at the end of the assembly line where vehicles are done. And what'll happen, the vehicle gets completely put together, all of your fluids are filled, the brake system gets bled, your AC system gets charged, all of the programming of the various modules gets done, and then the vehicle gets fired up and it gets driven a few feet, and then it gets its alignment done, its initial alignment. It also gets the headlight aimed, make sure the elevation is correct on the headlights, and if that needs adjustment, that gets adjusted. And then it will go through what's called the roll procedure. So what'll happen, the vehicle comes up onto some rollers that can hold the vehicle still, but the tires will spin. And while it's on roll, they run the vehicle up to various speeds, and they test the brake system, which checks the calibration of the ABS sensors, that calibrates the speedometer, calibrates the shift points in the transmission. And then at the very end of the test, they'll check the emergency braker parking brake function, and then they go out, and then there's a couple other things where they drive the vehicle through. It gets water tested. They drive it over a squeak and rattle course. They shake the vehicle a little bit. They'll twist it. They'll subject it to odd angles and stuff. Now, this is the Ford course. I've seen this. I've never been on the course in person. I've seen the course on a YouTube video that Ford put out. And they'll rock the truck back and forth, and they're looking for anything that didn't get properly assembled that's going to have a squeak, rattle, pops, anything like that. Checking the truck out. Well, they get done with that. They get driven over to a holding area where they sit and wait for either the transport truck or to be loaded onto rail. And a lot of times they might have to run across town a couple miles to get loaded onto rail. Depends on where they're built versus where the rail yards are. Or they might get driven a couple miles. So most vehicles from working at a dealership have anywhere between 3 to 8 miles on them by the time they are delivered to the dealership to be given to be sold, to be put on the lot. And then even then they're driven around to the detail bays and things like that. So, but 3 to 8 miles is normal mileage. Now, I will say that they'll randomly select, or every so often they'll select a vehicle for a long-term test. They take it out on the road. They have someone that's been there for a long time. Take it out on the road, and they'll just listen to it. They'll drive it up down the road, put about 20, 25 miles on it, and they're just listening for odd noises, things that shouldn't be there, but that may not get caught on the squeak and rattle course. Just listening to it. And when you get those in, they'll typically have a little sticker on it. This vehicle was driven X amount of extra miles to ensure quality. We hope you enjoy your new vehicle and get many happy, safe miles out of it. I've seen a bunch of those stickers. Okay, so I've explained all that. So vehicle will have miles on it when it gets delivered to the dealership. I had back when I was selling vehicles. Now I will admit, I was excellent at getting you very interested in the car and understanding the technology and the perks and the benefits and the safety and the features. I was not a great closer. I'll admit that. I was not a closer. Had a guy come in, this was somewhere in 2012, I believe, and he wanted to order himself a brand new Ford Explorer Sport Track. There's a problem with that. The last model year that the Ford Explorer Sport Track was built was 2010. And I said, well, sir, I understand those are nice vehicles. I've driven my share of them. They were, late model at the time. We had several of them come through the dealership on the used side of things, and I thought they were nice enough little vehicles, a little smaller than an F-150 in footprint, but you had 90% of the practicality because they full four-door, you can get four-wheel drive, you can get V8, so they can tow a little bit. Nice little cars, or nice vehicles. I liked them. So I understand that, but we don't make them anymore. Ford quit making those in 2000. Well, I'd be more than happy to look for a new one. It's got to be a new vehicle. I won't buy a used one. It's got to be a brand new Explorer Sport Track, and I don't want them to start it at the factory. Come again? They gotta push that thing onto the truck and then bring it to me. I'm like, well, they've gotta, calibrate your speedometer, and I want them to push it. And it's gotta be a brand new Explorer Sport Track. Now, this guy didn't hang out for very long, didn't waste a whole lot of my time, but I just thought it was an interesting level of crazy that he was dead set on getting something new that was impossible to get new because the factory didn't build that anymore. And wanted it delivered to him with 0.0 miles on the odometer, which is again impossible. I thought it was funny how ignorant he was, and the whole time, like, he's jumping in his vehicle to go to another dealership, I'm assuming, and I've got to have a brand new Explorer Sport Track with 0 miles on it. Thought it was entertaining. That's what I got on this dealership story, folks. Y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.